Hello and welcome. In today's video I'm going to be discussing how to track multi-track guitars or any other instrument and how to bring them together to make them work in a mix, but focusing on how to create them in production beforehand. So let's go and check it out. Hi, I'm in Reaper and this is the finished mix of a song that I produced called Empire. Now I'm going to play through this verse 1, let you have a listen carefully to the guitars and how they sound within the mix, and then after that we'll go into how I got the guitars sounding the way I have.
Across those great seas, with intent for host to flee, take the landing, will they please? We now rule with killers free.
That sounded great, and I will show what plugins I'm using soon. Before that, I want to talk about something that I believe is far more important than using plugins in mixing terms, and that is in production. Getting the sound source correct at production before going into mixing. Now, some people produce and mix at the same time, and that's fine, and some people work probably a little bit more like myself, where I like to get a production finished and then I'll move into mixing after that. Whichever way you do it isn't a problem. What I'm about to talk about applies to guitars, but also to any other instrumentation. It could be synthesizers, it could be an orchestra where you have some violins and violas, it could be a choir. The important thing though is when you're multi-tracking, as I am here, I've got 4 different guitar tracks in this verse 1 section, and I have 4 different guitar tracks in the chorus section. What I have done in production is that everything is being tracked individually, so there's no tracking something and then just copying it over, because you get all sorts of phasing issues, so you don't want to do that. Whatever instrument you're playing, you want to play it live each time. Secondly, after that though, just as importantly, is changing the sound slightly between the different performances. That's really what gives you that wall of sound, that kind of open, wide sound you hear on a lot of top productions. The way I have gone about this, whether if you're playing guitar, as is the case here, whether you're using amp sims or real amps, doesn't matter. The same philosophy applies. So I'm going to go through each track individually and let you see how it sounds compared to the other one, and then you'll get a bit more of an idea what I'm talking about. I'm sure you could detect the difference between the different sounds there on all 4 tracks, how they sounded individually, but also when they were all put together as a unit for the guitars within that verse 1, how it all came together and worked, and how it works within the sound of a mix, as you heard earlier. This is what I meant by being careful and thinking about the sound you want ahead of time. What kind of song is it? You know, this is quite an aggressive song. It's got an aggressive sound to it, and that's what I was going for. And so that's why I chose the guitar sounds, the amps that I did in this recording. Planning ahead, I think, is very important, and knowing what sound you want is also a vital part of a successful production. What we're going to do now is I will move on, show the plugins that I'm using. There's not many, what they're doing, and how that fits into the context of the final mix. Okay, so this is the Verse guitar bus, and I've just got one plugin on it. Now this is a multi-channel, it's called the Ultra Channel by Eventide. It doesn't matter what plugin you use or plugin chain, you could create your own free plugin chain to replicate what this is doing. But I'm using this because it's simple, it's all in the same place, I can just crack on and get on with it. What have we got here? I'm using a bit of compression with the Q-presser. I'm also using this compressor here, so anything in green is being used. Then we're going into this is a 5-band parametric EQ, and you can see what I've got going on here. If we look down, high pass filter at 100 Hz, just to cut out any of that flubby low end. I have a little push here at 256.7 Hz, just to add a bit of presence, low end presence into the sound. I have a cut at 659 Hz. There was a frequency there that wasn't pleasing to my ears. Then we've got another little push at 1K, and that is just for detail to bring out the transients. Then we're moving on to micro pitch shift, and you can look at these settings here. Got the mix at 25%, so it's not too heavy. And then we have this stereo delay. And again, just look at what's going on here. So now that we've seen what's going on here, I'm going to play a section with the plugin instantiated, and then I'm going to take this plugin out, and we'll see the difference in the sound. There will be a difference, but it won't be a huge difference, which is something that I wanted to add to these guitars within this mix, because mixing is essentially adding polish to what is already a good sound source. That's my view anyway.
We've been taken for host and free. Take the We've been taken for host and free. Take the
If you're enjoying watching this video, please consider smashing that like button and subscribing to my channel so that I can keep on bringing this free content. This is now the chorus guitar bus. As you can see, different plugin, the Infinity Strip by PSP, but the philosophy is the same. It's a multi-channel plugin. I have structured it in very similar terms, with a preamp, then filters, then an EQ, then a compressor, then there's a master control that can control width and balance, and I have pushed the width slightly, as you can see. Usually this would be at 12 o'clock, and I've pushed it out, so I'm making the guitars slightly wider, and by doing that a little more prominent in the mix. And then at the end we have a saturator. So this is just to show that it doesn't matter what plugin you use, as long as you know how to use it, what your end goal is, you can use paid or free plugins and they'll all do a great job for you.
Empire building is what we do. Not caring that you are doomed. Slave in a foreign land. Life ripped apart to serve a few.
Right, so you could hear there in the chorus the same concept, different guitar sounds coming together to form one overall sound. In production, getting the right sound, knowing what I want to go for or what you want to go for in your productions, and then bringing it into mix and then refining the sound in the mixing stage. So I think by planning, being methodical in the way that you work, knowing what you want ahead of time, and then going and achieving that in the production phase, then coming into mixing, working like this, and whether you're working with guitars, keyboards, vocals, orchestra, whatever it may be, the same philosophy will apply as is shown here. So I hope you've got something out of this. I hope it's helped. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Sabs out.